Brian Tinsman said, what? Well, you'll find out in this video. This is going to be the 5th part of the interview with Brian Tinsman that the creators of the first did. If you have not already, please check out the other 4 pieces on Radish Digital, Quarantine Capricorn, Be a Hero Gaming, and American Texan's channel, American Texan Plays. They're all got some phenomenal information in them, and this is just the final piece, so go ahead and tune in.
I do want to ask, let's see. What's interesting, Brian, is that you turned a question back on the panel, and it came after a period when American Texan hijacked this discussion and decided he was going to interview Ben from Be a Hero Gaming because it's his only opportunity to interview that celebrity. But they were, as I watched the panel, I was talking about, the gameplay, and of course, except for the college student who's working hard to get her degree, everybody else has attended an SCG con, and you had a chance, of course, you attend those, Brian, and you watch the play. How important is it for you to hear that feedback from people talking about the play outside the playtest group? The playtest group, I imagine, is extremely helpful to find the broken parts. But how important is for you to hear from these people who are passionate, playing, just a different voice than the playtest group that you're normally hearing? Is that an important voice for you to hear?
Yeah, at the kind of fundamental level, it's just exciting and energizing to see people having fun and the kinds of decisions that people have to make. You look at a board state and you see sometimes people, the players here on this panel will just immediately react and attack. And I think to myself, wow, I would have had to think about that for a long time. But you guys have had so many times playing the same deck that you know immediately what to do. And so just to see that, means I don't have to worry so much about making sure that board states get overcomplicated, or they don't get too overcomplicated, or that card interactions are hard to track or hard to parse, because like I see the amount of dedication that people put into their decks and working them out. And then also it's super important to just see like what's fun, what are the moments that happen that stick with me. Like, at the end of the day, I think back about when people got really excited, or when somebody lost, they still have a smile on their face when they shake hands, because they say, oh man, that was amazing, right? Because we want more of that, and less of the unfun stuff.
Capricorn? Is it speed round time yet for you? You're gonna pepper him with
that? So, not to beat a dead horse, but talking about Vegas again, I'm kind of curious. Do you know if the deck lists are going to end up being public?
Yeah, the deck lists are going to end up being public.
Interesting.
The deck list meaning what people have in their decks?
Yeah, the list of all cards that people used in the tournament. Yeah,
during the tournament or after?
Oh, after for sure. During they are supposed to be, they're supposed to be public during the tournament. However, the software didn't have the right settings when we did it at SCG Con. So,
and is that just to maintain integrity, that people are playing what they say they're playing? Is that what it's for, or?
It's because we don't want to give an advantage to people who are like, snooping or spying, or looking over across the table at what other people have in their decks. It puts everybody on the same level field.
Interesting.
It's also nice post championships to be able to like dissect what the decks that do really well are. I have not had a chance to do that for a ton of decks, but not the previous Discord tournament, but one or two before. I've had lots of people reach out. I did like 3 deck techs from that, and I've had several people reach out and be like, I feel much better about understanding how deck building after seeing a video. And so it helps people who are learning to build decks to see what well-built decks look like. And those tend to be very different and creative. Not that the precons are not good and do not teach you how to build a deck, but seeing the more and different ideas I've found tends to be really helpful to people. Sorry, I didn't mean to give a really long-winded answer that was.
It's really nice too. This game is best of 1 and not best of 3 like a lot of other games. There's no sideboard like a lot of other games have. For those of you who might be watching and don't know what a sideboard is, you can have like a certain subset of cards set aside where after your first game with your opponent, you can swap cards in and out and change your deck, and you have to win best 2 out of 3. That happens in other games. The way this game is designed, it's the perfect length, and you only play 1 game because of it. And I've argued in the past that I don't think sideboards are all that necessary, because I think the game has the kind of tools you need to deal with any problem in ways that you can just build into your main deck and just be able to pivot and play smart. But being able to see the deck lists makes it so that you can go into the game with that in mind, instead of, getting caught with your pants down and feeling like, oh, you wished you had a game 2 with a sideboard. I think you won't feel that as much. So,
But you won't be able to change cards, right? Once you post your deck, that's your
right.
deck. There's no changing cards.
Mm-hmm.
It's more just having an awareness of like, oh, there might be some problematic things, and like, what do I have in my deck that might answer those problematic things? Like, what should I pay attention to going into my match with this opponent? But both opponents can do that to each other, and it makes for compelling gameplay, I think. So I'm excited to hear that.
Okay.
American
Yeah,
Texas.
I love looking at decks after tournaments and trying to back out what the deck builder was thinking. And sometimes you'll see a card in there and say like, what the heck is that doing in there? And then you have to figure out what they were getting beaten up by for them to put a certain solution in there.
Well,
American
for me, it's tough because I struggle. I want to put the cards in there that I like, even though maybe it's not good for my deck. I think, but I like this card. I like how it looks, or I love how this card plays, but it doesn't fit in your deck. And so it is tempting sometimes. Like, I'm just going to put this in because I think it's cool.
You know how badly I want to play with Knievel? Never makes sense in the decks that I'm building, but one day.
Brian, how many times a week do you play Wonders of the First?
A couple times a week. Yeah, I'm not playing on a daily basis lately. I am when we're in intense playtesting mode, for sure. But when we're in design mode, and it's very often playing with a mix of existence cards or Call of Stones cards or future set cards too. So.
Well, so you're actually playing with the net. You're playing with 3 sets when you play.
Yeah.
Okay. And
yeah.
And
or often with like just Call of the Stones, or because you want to play test it out for sealed, or working on future precons and things like that.
And is it? I heard a story. Of course, people know that Tom Felton, Galen Voss, is that he, in the collaboration during a meeting, is that apparently he was playing a game against you, and that the team from Wonders said, okay, it's time to move on to the next part of this tour. And he said, no, I'm playing against Brian here. I'm going to keep playing. Is that an accurate story that he didn't want to get out? for play you?
Yeah. I was happy about that because, like, he's got plenty of demands on his time, and they want to take some photos and things like that. But he was fully sucked in to that game in particular, and he had to see how it was going to end. So that was pretty exciting. And it was one of those games that came down to the last one or two actions, and in round 7. I had it like in the back of my mind, like, okay, this is first impression of the game here. Am I supposed to let our partner win? No, he doesn't get the win.
That's your choice.
No,
I think that's a debate a lot of people have when they're teaching people to play.
Yeah, this is something that we run into in jiu-jitsu school when new people come to try out a class, and you're like, okay, do you go easy on them so they have a good experience and they want to come back and keep coming, and the answer is no. People don't come to learn bad jiu-jitsu. They come to learn good jiu-jitsu and see what it can do to you. So
to be clear, you didn't go easy on Tom at any point. He didn't get to the 7 because you were going easy on him. It was competitive all the way, and then you didn't let up. But
it was a good close game. It was a good close game.
Cool.
All right. American Texan, did you have a question?
Yeah, can I ask some, again, because I like to get to know the creator or the designer. So can I ask you some simple rapid fire questions?
Sure.
Coffee or tea?
Tea. I don't drink coffee at all.
Coke or Pepsi?
Pepsi.
Okay. Do you iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Do you know how to free the prisoner?
Wait! You're trying
Wait a second. Oh, sorry. I meant to say.
This is like one of those police interrogations all the time. I want a lawyer. Where's my lawyer?
Sure. Carbs for breakfast or protein?
Protein.
Okay, very good. That's my question.
Eggs and bacon.
I tried.
I've witnessed that
Nice.
firsthand.
Yeah, the bigger question is Cheerwine or Pepsi?
Oh, yeah. I never had Cheerwine before I went to the Wonders office, so it's like a local thing for East Coast or something.
Yeah.
I grew up on the West Coast. There's no such thing as Cheerwine over there.
Dr. Pepper is Temu Cheerwine. I said it.
Is that true? Okay.
I said it. Can't unsay it.
Okay, let me say something that doesn't need to be said. Anyways, I have a winning record against Capricorn. There, we've both heard something we don't want to hear tonight. I'm from Texas. You can't badmouth Dr. Pepper. I've got
Enjoy it while it
original
lasts,
vintage
Texton.
glass Dr. Pepper bottles that we got for our wedding.
Enjoy it while it lasts. By this time next month, you'll be looking at the new world champion.
Brian, one question I had for you was 10 years from now, where is Wonders of the First? And you're somebody who obviously has seen meteoric success for the games in which you're lead designer. So I think few people could really see what you're creating, and you won't fully know until 10 years down the road. But where do you see Wonders in 10 years?
Wonders is a super strong gameplay system, and it has the potential more than any game I've seen in a very, very long time to go long and go big. And the team is not going to make any rookie mistakes along the way. Like, you sort of think of like game designs as the nest of baby turtles where 1,000 turtles hatch, and most of them are eaten by seagulls or something, and only a few make it to the sea and grow up to be big. And we're definitely not going to get eaten by a seagull in the first few years, right? Meaning we're we're not going to have a fail on power creep or over printing or bad distribution mistakes, or being too boring, or falling into bad lore or bad world building traps. We're not doing any of that. So the other thing that we have going for us is dedication of our community and how much it's connecting with fans. Like it's very rare. It's very unusual for people to get this much positive energy and excitement around a game that's like only in its first year. That's still just hasn't even hit its stride in terms of growth. So the game is set up to have more potential to be big and long-term success than almost anything I can think of.
Well, when you talk about community enthusiasm, of course, the recent pre-sale for Call of the Stones, we saw a 4-day sale where orders were being placed at the rate of 1 every 52 seconds over an 84-hour period. We saw triple the amount of orders that we saw in the Kickstarter, which was 30 days. This was a 4-day window. We saw a triple in the amount of orders. What are your thoughts, Brian, when you see the data come in afterwards and you're like, yeah, we're hitting an order every minute during this period? Like, were you surprised it was that demanded?
I was a little surprised. Like I expected it to be strong, but that's higher than expectations. And it's not a terrible place to be in, to have people so excited about the new product that they can't get everything they want. So
what are you most excited for, like, long term with Wonders? Like, what are you most excited / proud for with Wonders long term?
The DBS system lets us take risks with card designs that you can't do in other games. It gives tremendous flexibility about crafting an environment, right? Like what I mentioned before about being able to dial back removal for a while, and then if a certain strategy becomes too dominant or is not fun, or you just want to like mix up the metagame environment, you don't have to make huge changes, right? You just nudge a few things here and there by 10 points, and you can have a big effect on the meta. And it's never been done in trading card games before. And so there's not a long body of established practice on how to do it. So like we really get to forge a new path here with how we manage it, right? There's a lot of details of DBS management that we're discovering the right way to do it. Like in terms of, how much do you raise or lower per adjustment? How often do you want to do adjustments? What's your policy around communications of, how much are you going to show of the formulas that are using to make those adjustments, and how much is just kind of like seat of the pants? Like, I like Ascend, so let's knock a few points off there and give a year where Ascend is the strongest thing to do. Like all of that is game design that's happening, live over the entire lifetime of the game.
Cool. Yeah. So my one final question I have is, a lot of people comment on my channel when I share things about Wonders that I absolutely love, and they say the same thing over and over again. Games don't do this. Collectible card games don't do this. This can't work. And how do you feel about kind of these rule-breaking strategies like the DBS, which I think is absolutely amazing? It's such a genius idea. Are you a little bit nervous kind of going against the grain, or are you just charging ahead?
No, I'm not nervous about any of it. we've
The fact
had,
that the one thing they point out is the fact that it's not pushed into game stores. How come this isn't in game stores? It has to be in game stores, or else it's not going to work.
sure. I mean that's a challenge that any new trading card game has to address, and it's a chicken and the egg problem, right? Game stores don't want to carry it unless there's a player base, and how are you going to build a player base? So this reminds me of like when they first invented the car, there was no gas stations, and there's no gas stations because nobody had cars. But like each new city gets a new gas station, and now you can drive to that city and drive back and forth, and then the next one, right? So you gotta build the player base up, and then an LGS is going to start to take the product, and then you gotta build up the next player base, and I think that strategy has a lot more potential for long-lasting success than something that has a well-known IP and that blasts out to a lot of game stores, and then it's just like they either crater or they do well, and if they crater, then it's all over.
Yeah, but I like it. I'm glad that let's do something different, see where it goes.
I'm really curious. We were talking about DBS earlier. Are we going to get a DBS update with COTS? Are we going to get a DBS update before COTS?
Yes, we are going to get a DBS update after Vegas, and then we're going to get another one with COTS.
Interesting.
Yeah, every new set that releases will have a DBS update that comes along with it, and plus the new set will have all those cards will have DBS.
Do you come up with some of the either clan names or like the Barbonis or the different families that we might have? Like, how do you come up with names? Do you know kind of some general, like these are a cast of characters and we're going to pick this one for this set, this one for this next set? This sounds more like an Umbrathine name. The Tigerians, that's obviously Petrian. Like, do you have where do you come up? Do you come up with those names, or did someone else come up with those names? How do you come up with some of the theming outside of the mechanics of the game?
A lot of the cards come from proofs that were in the original 5,000 Wonders of the First proofs, and that came from a team that had some overlap with the game design team. Ramel was a leader in both the original proofs and has been on all the game design stuff. And Chris Kish and Bear and Ryder, they did all of those original proof names and concepts and types, and so we pull from those pretty strongly. But as we come to new sets, we're also coming up with new cards and new names and concepts on the fly. So there's some mix of existing proofs and new stuff too, and we pull quite a bit from the tradition of the original set of proofs. A lot of it is based on what players talk about and what they're excited about in Discord, and people share images of their favorite proofs, and look at this art. There's so many art pieces and names and concepts in that pool of thousands of proofs that it's really helpful to see what people are excited about.
So, Brian, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to put up with all of our questions this evening. I have one question and a backup question in case you don't have a longer answer for this first one. Is there anything that we have not asked you about tonight that you feel like we should have asked you about, or that you just really want to talk about?
I like talking about the high level design of new sets. I feel like Existence came together exceptionally well as a way to introduce the world and the mechanics and kind of like show off, like really rev the engine of what the game system can do. Like it's pretty gutsy to launch the first set of a new game with like copy mechanics like symbiosis and portal and all that stuff, but like, you know, the players get it and it works great. And so like how to follow that up with Call of the Stones, like you got to have a really strong theme that people like understand right away. And we got it. You know, this idea that wonders are beings that are sensitive to formless energy, and as these chunks of formless stones are scattered throughout the world, the wonders are drawn to them, and the stone seekers realize that if you control a stone, you can channel that energy into the wonders that you know, serve you or help you, and therefore you can control that area of the world. Like that's kind of a clean piece of world building that's contained within the whole idea of the set. And then, well, you know, the mechanics of the set like are really reinforcing it well. So, you know, the call mechanic and rage mechanic and the stone seekers, and then there's a few other ones that haven't been revealed yet, they're all pulling in the same direction. So I'm really happy about that.
That's awesome. I love to hear. I always love a solid theme in a set. That's something that I always enjoyed about Magic sets. Growing up was like the first commander deck I ever built was an Arcane Spirits deck. Janky as all get out. It's still one of my favorite decks, though.
Using old Kamigawa stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I had to find a way to throw that in there. It's still one of my favorite decks, even if it's one of those decks that I play it and I very rarely win because I either get murked on site because they know I'm playing the deck, or I just draw nothing. It is not my most well-built deck, but it's the first one I built from scratch, so it's near and dear to the heart.
Yeah, that can still be really fun too, because if other players identify you as you know, not a big threat, then sometimes you'll just be doing your thing towards the end of the game and come in and sweep up the remnants.
Yeah, I've made some very scary Myojin combos in that deck that if they let me, I will do some nasty things to the board state. But we're not here to talk about Magic. So I will circle us back with what should be a quick and easy question. What is your favorite card in Wonders?
My favorite card is Strange Mutated Mass, because it's a card that I never could have made in any other game. So the deal with Mutated Mass is if you put two masses next to each other, so the text says that Mutated Mass's power is equal to the power of all allied wonders in adjacent realms. So if you put two of them next to each other and one of them is adjacent to something else, it's a continuous loop where they will both go infinite. And we had a difficult choice to make when we realized that, like, okay, these things have infinite power. You know, this is going to be a glitch that the game rules have to deal with. We decided, you know what, we'll just let it go infinite. We support infinity. The game supports infinity, and you know, Magic would never do that a lot. I don't know of any other game that would actually try to support that, and it leads to like weird, unintuitive situations where if I have two infinity wonders versus one infinity wonder, it's a tie, because 2 times infinity is equal to infinity, and that doesn't make any sense. But you know, so what? We let you go infinite. So, so anyway, that's a long story about why I like Mutated Mass. Plus, Mutated Mass is it's a weird, creepy card that I think is just cool.
Yeah, I had an inkling that that might be your favorite card, seeing it up on the shelf behind you. Um, but again, thank you so very much for taking the time to talk to all of us, and I really enjoyed it. So just thank you, and I will wrap up as I always do, by saying to you and the community at large, please like, comment, subscribe, and keep being your wonderful selves.
Thank you so much. I love your content, love your discussions. They're just super insightful and really fun to hear.
Thank you. Forgot to say it while we were talking with Brian, but if you, again, as I said at the beginning of the video, if you have not already, go check out the rest of this interview on Be Hero Gaming, Radish Digital, Quarantine Capricorn, and American Texan Plays. All great pieces of this interview. And like Brian and I said, please like, comment, subscribe, and keep being your wonderful selves.